Hello, welcome to another episode of Sports with Monga, and it's ended. It's ended with City being on top. What a comeback! An 8-point deficit closed so quickly by Manchester City that almost Arteta will be thinking, were they ever on top? Now they've had a couple of chances to increase their lead. Arsenal dropping points, City dropping points, but City kind of getting the odd results every now and then to at least keep the pressure on. It was very simple. 2 games, if City win 2 games and Arsenal don't, it would be very soon level peggings. And that's exactly what happened. A beautiful game, a very high tempo game. Among the match was pretty clear. Like the best two of the league, number one playing number two, four being the number one. Manchester City and Arsenal. Arsenal leading the table before the game. Manchester City, the hunters, and Arsenal the hunted in a way, right? So the game was very well poised. Extreme, like when the game started, before the game started, everybody thought that Pep might do something which might make it easier for Arsenal to win, and he actually did. He did tweak the formation in a way of playing like Bernardo, Kevin De Bruyne, Mahrez, and Grealish, and then playing the back three of having to change and playing Ake, Diaz, and Walker. So keeping the line a little more vulnerable. A more attacking kind of play that he would have expected. And in front, of course, it's Haaland, and of course he did start the Gundogan as well. But in Arsenal, on the other hand, going very kind of known lineup for them. Not a lot of changes for Arteta. He keeps this. He just made one change, that Tomiyasu came in for White. And I think, yeah, in the hindsight, Arteta could have just played White as well, because the first goal scored by City is a Tomiyasu mistake. But then it was really well poised. The game kind of has ended 3-1 in favor of City at Emirates. So it's 1-3. Arsenal has lost not the title, but then they're no longer right now on the top of the table. Very important to note that Arsenal still has a game in hand. So that's a very important point to note. But then what's really more worrying, what's more worrying is the fact that Arsenal has lost. Arsenal have lost their 10 Premier League games against Manchester City, and that was always going to be the thing, right? Like, will they be able to do something? Will they be able to kind of come back? But then that and obviously the other change was, and that was something that always everybody knew, that it's a pressure for Premier League. And the other change as well, like Thomas Partey was not part of the squad. Jorginho starts, so that's kind of different. There was another change for Arteta to kind of deal with, but City in the end leapfrog their opponents into first. But then it's a very small margin. It's like on the goal difference, first of all, because they're now both on 51 points. But Arsenal also have a game at hand. City end their run of losing, the losing run, and next it's Nottingham Forest for City. Arsenal are now, they're winless in the last four in all competitions, and Arteta is definitely hoping that he can turn things around as Aston Villa and kind of get back to the top of the table. But the game was like really, it was like actual Premier League, the end-to-end stuff happening. You can actually feel it. You can actually kind of understand like how the tensions, like it was always on the edge, yellow cards flying. Anthony Taylor also not kind of not leaving a lot of drama. But then the first goal, just talking about the goals in a way, it's a very loose blind back pass from Tomiyasu, which Kevin De Bruyne just latches on, and he doesn't catch it cleanly as well. He just kind of catches from the shin, but then the shot is so, it's Kevin De Bruyne, and just kind of loops in and perfectly into the near post and into the goal for City to actually lead, and that's what happens, right? So and City kind of have the lead, but then immediately, I would say, like immediately, I would say it was an Ederson error. He jumps on Nketiah. Nketiah has no chance. He was alone, even if his shot wouldn't have beaten, but he can jumps on him, gets a foul, penalty awarded to Arsenal to score the goal by Bukayo Saka. He's like cool as a cucumber on the in the penalty spot. Beautiful goal. Sends our Ederson the wrong way. And the tempers start rising there. Like Tomiyasu is shown a yellow card for time wasting. Ederson is shown a yellow card as well for time wasting. Bernardo Silva is shown his first yellow after kind of, I think, tackling Saka for a couple of occasions. And then there is a big moment, right, where Gabriel is holding Haaland, and he really is holding him, and you can see that holding happening. Like Haaland had, I think it was one of those games where he proves why he is the best, and also for his own confidence, right, as well. Like it must have been difficult for him to not being part of not being away and not being able to score for the last couple of games, but then now he gets the chance and he does it really, 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 really well. So that was kind of because of the hold up play as well that he has, and also just like terrorizing the defense. So there at the 50th moment, there's an important moment where penalty is conceded by Gabriel after holding of Haaland, but then were a VAR check. You understand that he's been offside. He's an offside, and that's a V, and Gabriel gets a yellow, but then that's cancelled as well. Akanji comes in for Mahrez at the 61st minute. That's pretty interesting. Everyone's like, what's happening? But then you see that Bernardo is now coming more into the game. Bernardo is playing a little more like on the left side of defense, covering on the first half. But then Akanji comes in, and Bernardo goes in the middle. You then see kind of a very interesting lapse of concentration from a very seasoned player. Zinchenko loses concentration for a moment and is just immediately punished after the ball gets rolled down to Haaland. Haaland passes it to Gundogan, and Gundogan just rolls it for Grealish to kind of finish it. And then Gabriel and Trossard comes in for Arsenal to make a little difference for Martinelli, and Foden comes in for Grealish as well. But then the game is like they're tired legs. You can see Arsenal kind of dropping off, and then they drop off almost completely for Haaland to get one whisker. Like he had one shot, and he could like one really good attempt when the ball comes to him, and he really makes the most of it. So no kind of changes. No, Haaland being his best scores it. Couple of changes, slew of changes made by Arteta. After that, he gets in a white for Tomiyasu, and then Vieira for Saka. But then the game is poised well. You can see the difference. 3-1 is a very hard lead to kind of lose for City side, who want to win this game. But then I would say we need to commend Arsenal for the way they played, because Nketiah had a couple of chances in the first half and also in the second half to make a big impact. Like in the first couple of minutes of the start of the first half as well, he gets a pretty clear header, and he which is kind of just whiskers away and does not even hit the target. So he's not even kind of troubling the goalkeeper. And then there are a couple of similar chances that he has where he's not able to kind of make the most of it, and that's the thing, right? These are the fine margins that you lose or kind of win champions like Premier League titles. But Premier League is extremely hard to play and win and sustain you kind of energy. But then if you're not scoring, if you're not finishing goals that you can, that becomes a really hard problem to then solve. I think Arteta can go as a proud manager to basically have held City for pretty long. But I would say this is the test of character now. This is the test of character where City is now top and Arsenal will have a game in hand. But then can Arsenal come back and then maintain or sustain this pressure for the end of the season? It's still early days. It's still kind of we're still in the game 23. There's still around 15 games to be played. Arsenal plays 16 games, City to play 15 more games. So there's a lot of games to be still played. I don't think Arteta needs to get worried about losing near the midway of the season. But then that's something which we need to watch out for. Of course, Haaland again, he scores his 26th goal. That's just wild. The way or the amount of goals this man has already scored. Pep Guardiola should be happy with this result. Definitely being on top of the table. It's a very good position to be in, and should kind of maintain the pressure on Arsenal. Anybody drops the ball, the gap just opens up, and that's what Premier League is all about: sustaining pressure for a long period of time and being able to come out on top. Let me know in the comment section below what do you think. It's been a very cagey game. It's been a wonderful game to watch, in my mind. What do you think was the moment that changed the game? Haaland strike, or kind of Haaland getting more involved? Is that one of those things that you feel Haaland getting the ball more was the game changing, or something that Arteta could not read? Or it's just the class and experience of City that kind of just took them to top? Let me know in the comment section below. Looking forward to reading them. And do like the video, do share, and do subscribe. And catch you in the next one.